right, ladies. Today I am in Google AI Studio, and I was corrected when I was looking at file types for Nano Banana. It corrected me and informed me that I was referencing Google's Gemini 2.5 Flash. So allow me to be official in the way I talk about this. I am today going through Google Gemini's 2.5 Flash, aka Nano Banana. And I'm going to dive into this because it's just so damn fun. I couldn't not do an episode on it.
Welcome to Empowered by AI, the podcast for women entrepreneurs ready to harness AI to take their businesses to the next level. I'm your host, Michelle Muncie Silva, founder of Innovative AI Studios. You may have left corporate life to start this entrepreneurial journey, but you don't have to go it alone. Here, you'll find a supportive community of like-minded women and an invaluable thought partner each week, as my guests and I share actionable insights you can use right away. So let's dive in together.
I was playing around with this. I wanted it to just take an image of me initially and change the background to a futuristic cityscape at sunset vibe and give me some rebel style outfit because I'm really hanging on to the fact that ChatGPT 5 said I was edgy. So I'm not going to let that go. I asked it to show me having a podcast headset around my neck. So from this image, you can see it gave me again, the not typical body type. It went into a stereotype with larger chest, thinner waist. And I'm just like, okay, I'm getting numb to this at this point. So I'm not wowed by this at all. But then I asked it, give me a futuristic podcast studio. So I really did appreciate what it was doing. But when I asked it to blend the futuristic me with the podcast studio, you can see here the perspective is not its strong suit. So, regarding image creation and things like that, I think you can do so much more with Midjourney and really dive in deep with that and get some realism there. I have a long-term love affair with Midjourney, so it might be that I'm a little bit more familiar with that as well, but I have seen other people talk about perspective being an issue with Nano Banana. So it's all good. It's all good. I still had fun playing around with it. But then I decided let's get some actual business use cases in place here. So I took my logo, which this is a new logo that I'm playing around with for Innovative AI Studios. And I wanted to imagine a use case for this. So I said, all right, let's say I want to get into the supplement business. And I want you to do a mock up of a supplement jar with this logo on it. And I gotta tell you, ladies, this is pretty damn impressive. That is pretty kick-ass. When I looked at that, I was like, damn, that looks really good. So then I decided to push it, see how far I could take it. And I said, all right, let's have a woman in her 40s sitting and meditating. She's wearing yoga clothes with a bottle of the Innovative AI Studio supplements on a shelf next to her. And so seeing this, okay, that's not too bad. You can actually read when you zoom in on this image, you can see it kept the logo pretty solid right there on the side. So that does not look too bad either. And then I wanted to give you a little bit of reality, though, before I dive into what the next task that I decided to tackle. It was about a 38-second lag for two times. It could not take my image with the mock-up, so I had to do a generic woman with the supplement jar. It was taking, I tried three times before I just decided to stop trying to mold in my image with this. And so I just wanted to let you know there is that little hiccup there. I am using the free version of this right now, and I was watching my tokens get eaten up regardless of whether or not it was giving me what I asked for. So I just decided to cut that one loose and let it go. But then I wanted to do another attempt at something that would be accurately aligned to someone needing this for a business goal. So I have a friend who has a side hustle over on eBay and she's selling some items. She picks up clothing and then she resells. Okay. So what I want you to consider is the complication of this particular skirt. I was trying like all hell to get this placed on a model for her. Previously, I was using a different tool, which I won't bore you with the name of it because it's now going to be obsolete with Nano Banana. Because what we have here is this incredibly complicated skirt. You can see the parrot at the top, you can see the palm trees in the middle, and then you almost have this collage of different colors towards the bottom end of the skirt, and then the detail in the hem. I could not get that to replicate. Every time it would put it on a model, it would change the skirt in some way. So I uploaded the skirt. This is my test. Kyle Shannon was doing a wrap. Previously, that was his test to see if something was better. This skirt is my test for any type of product placement or putting something on a model that you already have. And so I literally just typed in, put a woman wearing this skirt on a beach. And this is holy shit accurate. I'm sorry. This is so accurate. Look at that. It's got the parrot. It's got the palm trees. It's got the different colors here. It's even got the lace hem. I was blown away by how accurate that is. So you could play around with that maybe a little bit, but I don't see anything wrong with that. I was amazed. So if you are doing product placement or if you are side hustling on eBay and you want your items to pop and stand out, Nano Bananas got you. So that was absolutely wonderful. So then I decided, let's see if we can do a whole brand image. So I made up some clothing that I felt would go along with the whole innovative AI studio, took the logo, put it on a cap, loved that, made myself a leather jacket, some distressed boyfriend jeans, and made up these tennis shoes. So I did all of that over in Midjourney because my goal with Nano Banana was to create this collage and label each picture to see if it could take all of those items and put them on a model. So I prompted, after I created the collage, I prompted and said that I want a woman in her 40s wearing the leather jacket, distressed jeans, tennis shoes, and baseball cap that you see here. She's in a podcast studio. And you can see I got pretty much what I wanted, except the shoes went from a white background to a black. And so I was wondering if I could tease that out. And I gave it the picture of the shoes again and asked for the same thing. And it just got stuck. It couldn't do the white background on the tennis shoes, not background, but you see what I'm seeing here, the white canvas of the tennis shoes. It could not do that. It kept making it black. It got stuck there. So I decided I was going to stop eating up tokens with that one. Then I dove into asking it to colorize an image for me. This is my grandpa. He was hunting. My dad had wanted to see if I could fix this up. So I used Photoshop and I was working with it. I had another image of him to help me clean up the face. I did some work in Photoshop to help get rid of some of those shadows. So that was about as clean as I could get it in Photoshop. And then I decided to say, hey, can you give me a realistic color image of this photo? And this is what it provided me. That is pretty impressive, if you ask me. I was really happy with that. I was super excited to see that happening. So, what I am then interested in is people have talked about creating thumbnails and they've talked about creating thumbnails for their YouTube channel, but I decided not to go there because I am just about in love with what Sora is doing for that right now. So I decided that I wasn't even going to go there. I'm just going to continue to play with Sora and that I'm not going to change it. But I did do a little bit of research on data visualization with this, and it won't accept an Excel spreadsheet. It won't accept a PDF except to convert that PDF to an image because what it's working with predominantly are JPEG or PNG files. So the amount of tokens that it takes up to grab onto a PDF is just obscene. So with me, with my free version, that was just not happening. So I ended up entering the data by hand that I wanted it to play around with because it was small enough that I could just, because I was just playing with it, I decided, okay, I'm just going to enter it by hand. So that's really not happening in most use cases for businesses. But another thing I realized is that it ended up cutting off the image that it was creating. The data stopped being accurate. It was just focused on the image. And really, I wouldn't use it for that either. It's predominantly playing around with images, and data visualization is not something that it seems to be very good at yet. I would say one of the key things to play around with is uploading an image that you've annotated. So if you want something to look really detailed and you want something to look, maybe you've got something that's got multiple parts to it, annotating an image seems to be incredibly successful. My version of that was creating the collage and then annotating the different parts of the collage and telling it what I wanted it to do with that. And as you saw, for the most part, it did really well with that. It just got stuck on something. The interesting use case that I've seen for that is interior design, taking a picture of a room and then annotating what you want in which space, having it do some mock-ups of that, what it might look like. I've seen that be incredibly successful. And then another thing is character consistency. You might have even noticed in the model that I had wearing the different clothes for branding for Innovative AI Studio, that model stayed pretty consistent. So I've seen also character consistency being amazingly true throughout iterations. One thing I am seeing though is that you do have to have an upscaler. That's going to be necessary if you want to use any of these creative images, turn them into videos, things like that. You are going to have to use an upscaler possibly to get the quality that you want. But I am absolutely wowed by the mock-up possibilities and that clothing placement. That was just dang impressive, and it absolutely streamlined it. So if I was you, I would dive in, I would play, take a look at some use cases that are applicable to you around imagery, and let me know what you're using it for because I'm always interested.
Thank you for tuning in to Empowered by AI. If today's episode sparked ideas, don't wait. Follow the link in the show notes to visit innovativeaistudio.com and download your free resource created to help you put today's insights into practice. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes packed with more tips, tools, and inspiring stories. Until next time, stay empowered and keep innovating.